falling leaves in a quiet stream, lost in the current, caught in a dream. The sky whispers secrets, soft and low, a hidden truth only the brave.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mia, and today we're diving into a really emotional and complex topic. We're going to explore the journey of forbidden love, moving from that initial spark to the eventual aftermath. This is for anyone who's ever felt that powerful pull towards someone whose society, family, or circumstances deemed off limits.
Hi, Mia. I'm Lucas. I'm really glad to be here to unpack this.
Lucas, it's so good to have you. So the story we're using as our anchor today is titled The Beginning, When Love Was Easy. It describes this beautiful, almost accidental connection between two people. It wasn't about grand gestures, right? More like a quiet recognition.
Exactly. It's that initial phase where it's almost a mutual, unspoken understanding. It didn't start as a conscious decision to rebel or even to fall in love. It really began with laughter, with shared space, and then this gentle dawning of awareness.
Laughter, yeah. That feels so natural, like two people just existing together, and then suddenly, bam, they see each other. And the text mentions comfort before commitment, friendship before fire. That's such a sweet way to put it. It sounds so safe, so organic. Like a seedling just growing without anyone really noticing, until it's suddenly there, strong and rooted.
Right. And that's the real trick, isn't it? This kind of love, it feels like home. It feels so right, so deserved, before you even realize it might be trouble. The dangerous part, as the narrative puts it, is how much it can feel like sanctuary, like a place you belong, precisely because it's forbidden, making the eventual conflict that much more jarring.
Oh, absolutely. It's like finding this perfect little nook, and you're so cozy you don't even see the storm brewing outside. The two souls recognizing each other part, that's what gets me. It's that deep intuitive connection. But then this phrase, dangerous part about forbidden love, it often feels like home before it feels like a war. That's such a gut punch. It hits you right in the chest, doesn't it?
It really does. Because that initial feeling of home is so powerful. It's not built on external validation or grand pronouncements. It's built on genuine connection, on seeing and being seen. So when the war part starts, it feels like an attack on something fundamentally pure and good, which makes it incredibly difficult to navigate.
And it's that very purity that makes it so seductive, I think. You want to protect it. You want to hold on to that feeling of home, especially when the outside world feels, well, not like home. It makes sense why people would cling to that initial comfort, even as things get complicated. So this beautiful beginning, it's the setup for the next phase, which is segment 2, the rules, when love became illegal.
Yeah, and this is where the external forces really start to encroach. The narrative describes the rules not appearing all at once, but as whispers. You're not from the same background. This won't be accepted. These are the insidious seeds of doubt and judgment.
Whispers. That's such a perfect word. They're not shouted, they're not mandates yet. They're those little doubts that creep in. What will people say? This is not how things are done. It's like the air starts to thicken, and suddenly this pure thing is being judged, measured against arbitrary standards. And that's where the fear disguised as wisdom comes in, right?
Absolutely. Fear is a powerful motivator, and it often masquerades as practicality or concern. When those whispers become louder, when they're echoed by family, culture, or even religious doctrines, love transforms. It stops being a feeling and starts becoming a calculated risk. It's no longer just about two people, but about navigating a minefield of potential consequences.
Wow. Fear disguised as wisdom. That's so true, isn't it? It's like someone telling you, I'm only saying this for your own good, when really they're just projecting their own anxieties or their adherence to tradition. And then, suddenly, the simple act of loving someone becomes a decision with real, heavy consequences. It's like the weight of the world lands on these two people. It's not just their hearts anymore.
Precisely. And the rules themselves can be so varied. Sometimes it's about class, sometimes it's about race, sometimes it's about differing beliefs or life goals. But the effect is the same. Love is no longer a private matter between two individuals. It becomes a public performance, scrutinized by an invisible, often judgmental, audience.
It's like you have to get permission from a committee that never actually convened. And that makes the initial feeling of home, that safe space, feel incredibly fragile. You can see the walls starting to close in. So these whispers grow louder, the rules become more defined. And that leads us to the next part, the struggle, loving in secret.
This is where the emotional toll really begins to manifest. The narrative describes a unique exhaustion. It's the constant vigilance, the need to be on guard, lowering your voice, erasing messages, putting on a public face while your private world is in turmoil. It's a form of living a double life.
That sounds utterly draining. Measuring joy in stolen moments. 5 minutes. One phone call. A glance. It's like you're starving and you're just getting crumbs. And those crumbs are precious, but they're not enough to sustain you. It's a constant state of wanting more, but knowing you can't have it. That has to wear you down so much.
It's a profound sadness, isn't it? The vibrancy of love is contained, muted. Every interaction is tinged with the awareness of its impermanence, its illicit nature. And secrecy itself becomes a burden. It's like carrying a heavy secret that you can't share, and it isolates you even within the relationship. Love gets tired of carrying that weight alone.
Wow. Love gets tired of carrying weight alone. That really resonates. You can't build a sustainable life on stolen moments and hushed tones. It feels like you're always on the back foot, always reacting. And that constant effort, that energy expenditure to maintain the secrecy must be exhausting. It's not just the emotional strain, it's the practical strain too. Always looking over your shoulder.
Exactly, and it changes the very nature of the relationship. What might have been spontaneous and open now becomes calculated. Every shared glance, every private message is a risk assessment. It's a constant state of high alert, and that's not a sustainable way to foster deep connection and trust.
It sounds like you're constantly on edge, like walking on eggshells. And that's not conducive to growth or a healthy relationship. You're in this holding pattern that you can't really time live. This struggle, this constant effort to maintain the secret, it must eventually lead to a breaking point, which is segment 4, the breaking point, choose or lose.
This is the inevitable climax of that struggle. The narrative states, every forbidden love reaches a moment where silence becomes violence. This is when the inability to express love openly, to live authentically, starts to cause harm. It's no longer just difficult. It becomes destructive.
Silence becomes violence. That's a really strong image. It's like the pressure builds and builds until it has to burst. And you're presented with this impossible choice. Stay and essentially harm yourself by living a lie. Or leave and feel like you're betraying this beautiful thing you've built. It's like being between a rock and a hard place, but the rock is your own well-being, and the hard place is your heart.
And the reasons for reaching that breaking point are multifaceted. For some, it's the relentless pressure from family. For others, it's the sheer impracticality of a long-distance, hidden relationship. And for many, it's that devastating realization that love, while incredibly important, might not be enough on its own to build a life together without societal support or acceptance.
That last point about love not being enough to build a life, that's so difficult to admit, especially when you fought so hard for it. It's like all this effort, all this pain, and then you have to confront the reality that even the most profound love might not conquer all the external obstacles. That realization itself sounds like it would shatter you.
It's a deeply painful form of grief, because you're not just losing a person, you're losing a vision of the future. And it's a grief that often lacks validation. You can't necessarily grieve openly when the world didn't sanction the relationship in the first place. It's a grief that's often experienced in isolation.
That's so unfair. To have to go through that immense pain and then not even be allowed to outwardly express it or receive comfort, it's like being wounded and then told to just walk it off. The text says, No one tells you how painful it is to walk away from something that wasn't wrong, just unsupported. That's the core of it, isn't it? It wasn't a mistake, it was just incompatible with the world around it. That's incredibly sad.
It is. And that lack of support, that lack of external validation, is what makes the aftermath so profoundly difficult. It leaves a void, a sense of unfinished business, because the ending wasn't a natural conclusion, but a forced separation due to external pressures.
Yeah, it's like a story that just stops mid-sentence. And that's where we get to segment 5, the aftermath, grief without closure.
This is where the consequences of that breaking point truly settle in. The narrative highlights the absence of a, quote, public breakup, no permission to mourn. It's a quiet, internalized grief. You replay memories, you dwell on the what-ifs, and the solitude of your own thoughts. It's a grief that's often invisible to the outside world.
It's like a silent scream, isn't it? You're hurting, you're grieving this loss, but you don't have the societal framework to process it. No friends to confide in about the breakup. No family to offer condolences. No public acknowledgement that this love even existed. You're just left with the echoes of what was and the stark reality of what can't be.
And that's the insidious part. This lack of closure makes it incredibly hard to move on. The memories remain vivid, the questions unanswered. The pain of losing a love you were never fully allowed to have is a unique form of suffering. It's a constant ache, a phantom limb of the heart.
That phrase, losing a love you were never allowed to fully have, it just encapsulates it perfectly. It's like grieving a life you never got to live, and it makes you question so much. Was it real? Did it matter if it couldn't survive? It's a heavy burden to carry without any external validation or support. It makes you feel so alone with your pain.
It can, yes, and that isolation can be the most damaging aspect. Because in that isolation, it's easy to internalize the judgment that led to the separation in the first place. It's easy to believe that your love was somehow wrong or invalid, even though it felt so right at its core.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You start to believe the narrative that led to the separation. But the story doesn't end in despair. We move into segment 6, Transcendence, what rising really looks like. This feels like the turning point, the path forward.
Transcendence here isn't about forgetting or erasing. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about acknowledging that love shouldn't require you to diminish who you are. It's about honoring the person you were when you loved deeply, while also establishing boundaries to protect the person you need to become.
That's beautiful. Choosing not to abandon yourself, that's such a powerful reframe. It's not about moving on from the love, but moving forward with the lessons learned and with a renewed sense of self-worth. It's about understanding that love should empower you, not shrink you. I really like that distinction.
And it manifests in different ways. Sometimes transcendence is the act of walking away from a situation that is fundamentally untenable, even if it's painful. Other times, it's about redefining what love means to you and what you will and won't accept in future relationships. And often, it's about that profound moment of choosing yourself, perhaps for the first time.
Choosing yourself, that feels like the ultimate act of resilience. It's not about pretending the past didn't happen, but about integrating it into your present and building a future where your well-being is prioritized. It's about recognizing that the love you gave was valid, but it shouldn't have cost you your own sense of self. That's a really important lesson.
It is. It's about recognizing that the strength wasn't in enduring the hardship, but in the ability to rise from it, to learn from it, and to build something new and healthier for yourself. It's a process of reclaiming agency and redefining your own narrative.
Wow, that's profound. And it leads us perfectly into the final segment, the message for the listener, the lesson for the listener.
This is the heart of it, really. The direct address to anyone who has experienced something similar. The message is clear. You are not weak for loving. You are not foolish for hoping. And you are not broken for letting go. These are acts of courage, not failure.
Yes. And that line, some loves come not to stay, but to awaken you. That's such a beautiful, hopeful perspective. It reframes the entire experience. It wasn't a dead end, but a catalyst for growth. It was a painful lesson, but a lesson nonetheless that leads to a greater understanding of yourself and what you deserve. That's a powerful thought to hold on to.
It is. It shifts the focus from loss to awakening. It acknowledges the pain but finds purpose in it. And that purpose, that awakening, is its own form of enduring connection, its own kind of forever. It's a realization that can shape the rest of your life.
That makes so much sense. You're not defined by the love you lost, but by what that experience taught you and how it helped you grow. It's about the internal shift, the awakening. And that's something no external force can take away from you. It's a beautiful way to think about these difficult, often painful experiences.
Absolutely. It's about finding the lesson, finding the growth, and using it to build a stronger, more authentic self moving forward. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of even the most challenging experiences.
Wow. So after all this discussion, essentially the core idea is that forbidden love, while beautiful in its beginnings, often becomes a heavy burden due to external rules and secrecy. The struggle leads to a breaking point, which results in a grief without closure. But ultimately, transcendence is possible through self-acceptance and recognizing that these experiences can awaken us to our own worth and resilience. Let's bookmark that and continue after a break. Welcome back, everyone. So, Lucas, we've really unpacked the emotional journey of forbidden love, from its sweet, innocent beginnings to the painful aftermath and the eventual path towards self-transcendence. It's a narrative that truly highlights the human desire for connection clashing with societal constraints.
It does. And I think it's so important to remember the narrative's emphasis on the initial ease. The beginning when love was easy segment sets up this beautiful, organic connection. It wasn't a defiant act from the start. It was a natural unfolding. That makes the subsequent struggles even more poignant, because it's the external world that imposes the conflict, not the love itself.
Right. And you can really see how those whispers in the rules when love became illegal segment start to erode that initial foundation. The fear disguised as wisdom, those ingrained societal norms, they're like slow-acting poison. It's not a sudden attack, but a gradual suffocation of the love's natural expression. It's quite a process to witness.
And then the struggle loving in secret just amplifies that. That constant vigilance, the joy measured in stolen moments. It's like trying to keep a plant alive in a dark closet. It might survive, but it can never truly flourish or be what it's meant to be. The energy expended just to maintain that limited existence is immense.
And it's so easy to get lost in that struggle, to forget that the love itself wasn't the problem. The problem was the environment it was trying to exist in. That makes the breaking point, choose or lose, so incredibly difficult. You're not choosing between right and wrong, but between two kinds of pain. That's a terrible position to be in.
It is, because the narrative is very clear that the love wasn't inherently wrong, just unsupported. That distinction is crucial. It means the ending isn't a moral failing, but a tragic consequence of external pressures. And that leads directly into the grief without closure, where you're left to process a loss that the world doesn't recognize.
Exactly. And I think that's why the transcendence, what rising really looks like segment, is so vital. It's about taking that unrecognized grief and channeling it into self-empowerment. It's not about forgetting the love, but about integrating the experience in a way that strengthens you. It's a reclaiming of self.
It's about understanding that the love served its purpose, which was to awaken you to your own needs and your own inherent worth. It wasn't a failure. It was a catalyst for self-discovery and the ultimate ability to choose yourself. And that's a powerful lesson for anyone who's navigated such a path.
Yeah, it really is. The lesson for the listener then becomes about acknowledging the validity of their feelings, even if the world didn't validate the love itself. It's about seeing that love, even if it didn't last, was a part of their journey and can lead to profound personal growth. It's not about what was lost, but what was gained in terms of self-awareness.
Precisely. It's about the internal transformation. The love itself might be in the past, but the awakening, the learning, the strengthened sense of self that endures. It's a new beginning, forged from the ashes of a difficult past.
That wraps today's episode. Thank you, Lucas, for sharing your insights on this really deep and resonant topic. It's been incredibly thought-provoking.
My pleasure, Mia. It's a story that really speaks to the complexities of the human heart.
It really does. And to our listeners, if this story resonated with you, remember, you are not alone. The journey through difficult love can be isolating, but the lessons learned can be profoundly empowering. Until next time, be gentle with your heart and be brave in your choices.
Fallen leaves in a quiet stream, lost in the current, caught in a dream. The sky whispers secrets, soft and low, a hidden truth only the brave will know. Every chapter, every fall, there's a meaning behind it all. No moment wasted, no tear in vain. Every lesson grows through pain.